Tia with a Y.
And I'm Tia with an I, and welcome to
Seven.
the show that was created for independent music artists, actors, authors, and local businesses to share their journey with us on their way to success. Today we have an exciting show for you guys.
We do. We do have for our Hot Corner segment 2 special guests discussing the topic of police violence. We have a child actor, Mr. Alfred Lewis, and DeKalb County Sheriff Office candidate, Carl Mobley.
Hello, welcome.
Welcome.
How are you?
Thank you
I'm
so
well.
much
It's good to
for
see
joining
you.
us.
Yes.
Hello, Mr. Alfred. Hello,
Miss Tia.
Carl.
And
Thank
how
you
are
so
you
much for
doing,
joining
Mr.
us
Mosley?
today.
Good. Yes. Thank you guys so much for joining
Yes.
us on today.
We can call y'all T2. Huh?
Yes. So let's get started. So the way we're going to start this segment, please keep in mind that this is a sensitive subject, a sensitive topic that we are discussing. Our goal is to bring an understanding to the communities that we live in, so that we can combine and come together with the police force to try to make this world a better place.
Indeed.
So with that being said, if we could get a brief introduction, let's start with you, Mr. Alfred. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, my name's Alfred Lewis. I'm 10 years old, and I like acting, playing basketball, swimming, and writing raps.
Nice. Oh, right. You right. Okay, then. I'm going to catch you after the show. Okay, Mr. Mobley, how about you? What do you have going on?
My name is Carl Mobley. I am a native Georgian. I'm a 28-year veteran with the DeKalb County Police Department, just retired. And I'm currently a candidate for the DeKalb County Sheriff Office.
Okay.
Nice.
We have a
Awesome.
special election March 24th.
Indeed.
March 24th.
Yes, please
You
support.
guys hear that?
Go out
March
and vote.
24th, go out and vote
Need
for Mr.
everybody to
Carl
start
Mobley.
voting.
Yes. Okay, so Alfred, give us a brief description about the Hands Up project, the Hands Up movie that you was on. What was that based on?
Well, Hands Up was basically based on things that were happening in slavery and things that are happening now. So there's been a little bit of progress, but we still have a lot of ways to go.
Yes, we can agree.
Right. So hearing that, Mr. Mobley, what is your thoughts and your views on the topic that he just said, and the difference between back in the day and now?
Well, we've advanced a lot. We've accomplished things that we never could have accomplished if we wouldn't have had the civil rights movement. But we still have a long way to go.
Absolutely.
And we're going to have to unite as people.
Yes.
So community outreach is one factor, and also mentioning the idea of instilling these morals and thoughts in our youth.
Yeah, we have to get back to, first of all, law enforcement have to give control back to the parents. And we have to get back into teaching our kids how to act toward each other. And we have to learn how to act toward each other.
Yes.
We had more unity in the community, unfortunately, when we were slaves. And we have to get back to that. And that's one of the things as law enforcement officers we're going to be trying to do with them, young kids and young adults, is bridging the gap and basically what we call unity in the community.
Okay. And with that being said, Alfred, you also do theater, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is it that you do in theater?
Well, in theater, I do a lot of social issues, like on social justice, as far as slavery, being lured or being sexually trafficked, and things like that. Juneteenth celebrations, a lot of fun things.
But also educational, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So, and hearing Mr. Mobley speak on bridging the gap and having the police officers and the community coming together, you coming up as a young male, how does that make you feel, and knowing that you have someone that's in the police community that's trying to make the world or the areas safer for for people your age that are coming up, how does that make you feel in knowing that that's one of the goals of Mr. Mobley, is to make sure that you guys, as young adults, have an understanding of the police force and how to interact with police officers?
Well, I think it's a great idea because some kids, they grow up in certain areas and their parents don't really teach them how to deal with certain situations. So I think if the police and the law enforcement came out and taught the kids a lesson, it would just really help out.
Good. I
Yes,
like that. I
phenomenal.
like that. So you believe as well that if there is more interaction with the police and the community, and everybody, comes together on one page, you believe that that could definitely make a difference going forward.
Yeah, it make people have a change of heart.
Yes. And
is
you
most
being
important.
a young man, how important is it to you, or because I know that I can tell on the way that you speak that your parents have spoken to you about interaction with the police. How I know that you are grateful for one, that you have parents that are looking over you and making sure that you have an understanding. But my question for you is, do you see a difference, let's say maybe 3 to 5 years from now? Do you believe that with the work of Mr. Mobley and the team that he's going to have backing him, do you believe we'll see a difference?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Great. So, Mr. Mobley, just to piggyback off of what Ms. Tia just mentioned, what would you tell our viewers and youth such as Mr. Alford in regards of your intentions and what you see and envision for the future?
Well, for one, I will tell the viewers, we'll talk early on to dislike police. Think about it. When we're young or when you're out, we always hear, you better not do this because the police gonna get you.
Right.
But when we go to other communities, they say, go speak to the officer. He's your friend. You need to learn to talk to him. You need to trust. We have to break that. See, we're already instilling in our kids not to like police.
Right, you're right.
Now, it's a known fact that communities that have a good, strong base in the community, like I used to be a bicycle cop. And when anything went on, because we were so deeply involved in the community, we were told. That particular community in Scottsdale and Clarkston, we reduced crime 30-40%.
Wow.
Because we were always out in the community riding bicycles. We knew the kids. We played basketball at the schools. We coached. So we have to start training our kids on how to start trusting us from the very beginning as parents. And we got to stop that negativity toward the police from the start.
Absolutely, I do agree on that. Though, on the flip side, seeing what viewers see in the media is very damaging
Yes,
for
it
their
is.
morale and their faith in law enforcement.
Yes.
So, what would you say to law enforcement? Because some of our viewers will be law enforcement or potential or future law enforcement individuals. What would you say to them in regards of how to build their morale in their community?
First off, I always operated, like I grew up in DeKalb.
Okay.
I grew up in Decatur. Anybody ever heard of Kirkwood and East Lake Meadows? That was where I grew up at.
Okay.
So don't get it twisted. I grew up hard.
Okay, got you.
But one thing I can say is this thing right here is always watching.
Right.
Okay.
So, and I want him to understand and know that when law enforcement stop you and ask you to do something, follow their instructions. Because 9 times out of 10, somebody's always recording and watching. So you're pretty much always going to be covered. But to the law enforcement officers, I will tell you, do things by the book like you're supposed to.
Right.
Right.
Do what you're supposed to do. Do what you're trained to do. Treat people with kindness and respect. Give them that respect and let it come back to you.
Right. So with that being said, and tying everything together, it was something that you said earlier that I thought was very that was of significance. You didn't say that we need to come together as a black community. You didn't say we need to come together as a white community. You say we need to come together as a people.
Yeah.
You know, we need to come together as one to get a better understanding of how to maneuver and how to interact with the police. And as Tia stated, you know, with everything that's going on in the media and what they expose us to, how do you suggest maybe a different training? You know, because I understand both ends. You know, you're scared as the assailant and you're scared as the officer.
Right.
You know, you don't know if you're gonna make it home the next day.
Correct.
You know,
Vice
so
versa. Yeah.
when you stop someone, and it's very important that they understand when the police say to put your hands in the air, that's the move that they need to be making, is putting their hands in the air. Because as an officer, you don't know if you're stopping a potential, you know, murder suspect or anything, you know. So I understand it in that aspect, but as in the aspect of, you know, a civilian, how do we come together and knowing that, you know, we're all human, you know, we're not the higher power, you know, to take anyone's life. So is there a different training that police officers can take, you know, not aim to kill, not shoot to kill, but maybe, you know, I know you guys have target practice.
Let me explain. First off, no officer is trained to shoot to kill.
Right.
We're not the military. That's
Right.
the military.
Right,
All right. Police officers are trained to stop.
right,
We're stopping a threat. We're never trained to shoot to kill.
right,
So our training is to stop a threat.
okay,
Okay. Now, the only way we can start bridging our gap is through education.
right,
And education, what I mean by education is we have to start bringing citizens like yourselves out to our training facility and running y'all through some of our drills.
okay,
Because I did a couple of drills with some people I know, and basically I had someone to stand at a wall, and I was about 20 feet away, and I gave them a knife. Well, I had a knife, and I told them to act like they had a gun. And I ran toward her with the knife. And you know what she did? She came up center mass. And I said, why you didn't shoot me in the leg? And she was like, oh my God, I never thought of it like that.
Right.
Your
Reaction.
mindset is trained to stop a threat. I can do it to any one of you right now, and you would do the same thing.
Right, right.
So
Understood.
what we have to do is start getting the community and bringing them out to do some training, to start exposing them to our training and let them see some of the things we do. And that's education, because you got to understand, when we start training him, he's going to go back and tell his friends, oh man, believe it or not, guess what I just did? You know, I saw
Right.
the police do X, Y, Z, and man, Mr. Officer Mobley did this, Officer Mobley did that. But guess what he's doing? He's telling his friends, you need to go talk to Officer Mobley.
Right,
right,
right.
Because Officer Mobley did this. Now, I want to say to his parents, I know he's acting, and I know he told me a couple of things he want to do, like basketball, he want to be a lawyer, but I'm going to recruit him to go to the FBI. he's going to be recruited to the FBI agent.
How you feel about that,
but
Alfred?
that's one of the things we got to do. Unfortunately, on the federal level, FBI Secret Service, we're not being recruited to send young men like him to that level. And these guys are retiring at 20 years, 47, 48 years old, while we're still out saying, man, I'm hustling. We got to get them in this profession. Only way we're going to change it is to get them in here.
Okay, all right.
Right. Understood. Understood. I like how you tie that together. Okay, Mr. Alfred, do you have anything else that you would like to share on this matter?
I have one thing to ask you. So, what if you get stopped by the police and you do everything they say, and you put your hands up and they still shoot?
Okay, well, 9 times out of 10, and I can't always say what is going to happen, but I will tell you, in my experience, whenever I ask someone to do exactly what I said, it was never a problem. Now, no one can answer that question legitimately because you don't know, but follow the officer's instructions. If an officer tell you to stop, Stop doing what you're doing. Put your hands up. Do what he tells you to do. 9 times out of 10, if you do what the officer say and you're polite and courteous, because all of us up here, we're reactionary. If somebody come in here right now and hostile toward each one of y'all are gonna react.
Yes.
Right.
But if someone come in here and they're talking to you nicely, you're gonna be like, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Like Miss Tia, when she was talking to you nice, the first thing you said was yes, ma'am. But if Miss Tia was to talk to you and say, come in here and sit down, you're gonna look like.
Right.
So that's my answer to that. If the officer tell you to stop, just stop. Say, yes, sir. What would you like for me to do? If he said, turn around. Yes, sir, I'm turning around. Don't give anybody, teacher, officer, any reason to abuse you, to disrespect you, or to treat you bad. Just do what they say. And that's even for the teachers.
Right.
Same thing for the classroom. It's the same
Absolutely.
situation.
So I definitely understand Alfred's question, because we have, once again, reporting back to the media, we have seen incidences where,
Someone wasn't
people
doing the
were
thing.
following the officers'
Command.
right, to the T, no weapons, and they still end up, in a
Being
casket.
harmed, injured, or,
you
losing
know,
their
so
life. Yeah.
at the end of the day, I think as you both make good points, it's about coming together as a whole, as a people, and understanding both sides of what's taking place from an officer's point of view
Working
and
towards a
from
solution.
a civilian's
But
point of view.
can I make a comment on that?
Sure.
As people of color, we have to get more involved. We got to start being on the legislative branch.
Right.
We got to get on that level that we
Right.
can start holding those officers accountable.
Accountable, yes.
Because if you have an officer that's doing wrong and he go before a jury of his peers, and his peers are not like the people that he violated,
Exactly.
but when we get called to jury duty, what do we do? What do we do?
Pass.
We don't want to go. So we have to. Unfortunately we hold a lot of that
Gotta
blame.
do better.
We got to do
Absolutely.
better.
better.
Take more
We
responsibility.
got to get on that jury panel. We
Absolutely.
can, I'm a firm believer.
Yes.
Hold them accountable. If they do wrong, hold them accountable.
Yes. So there we have it, guys. We want to thank Mr. Carl Mobley and Mr. Alfred Lewis for coming.
Yes, thank
for
you,
coming
thank
in
you
today
for joining
and
us today.
sharing the information and the knowledge about police and civilians coming together and bridging the gap. This topic is very sensitive and it's very, very important. It's very, very important that we start treating one another as human beings, whether you're in uniform or not.
Right.
With that being said, Mr. Alfred, would you like to share with our viewers your social media handles so they can know how to find you and book you? Or
Well, on Instagram, my name is Book Alfred Lewis.
perfect.
Okay.
And
Mr.
Mr. Mobley, for you,
Carl Mobley for Sheriff 2020.
that's it.
Give them the date again.
Oh, special election, March 24th. We need all your support in DeKalb County.
And there we have it, guys.
And welcome back to 7. We are now in our See Me segment.
Yes.
And our special guest today is none other than the lovely
Brittany,
Métis.
yes. Good to have you on.
Hello, Miss Métis. Thank you so much for making
color
it.
coordinator.
Indeed, and there we have it. Break minds, think alike.
Yes, thank you so much for appearing on the show.
Yes.
So we're gonna start this segment off. We call this segment "See Me." So why don't you give us and our viewers a brief description about Brittany? What's going on with Brittany?
Well, how long do I have? Is it time? No. Well, I like nice walks on the beach. No.
There we have it.
But no, originally I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. Go Browns, go Cavs. Started acting professionally when I was 11 years old. And from that point on, I was just bent on getting to LA. Because I asked my mom, like, well, how do I get on TV? I was watching The Cosby Show and saw Raven Simone, who was my age. And she was like, we got to live in LA. We live in Cleveland. I'm like, well, we need to get to LA. So every time, like, I was like, I'm trying to go to LA. And right after high school, I made plans and saved money and, like, worked to get to LA. She's like, no, you're going to college first. So I went to college, got some formal theater training in college. She wouldn't let me major in theater, but I did like a double. Like, I took so many theater classes because I wanted to make sure I was ready. As soon as I graduated from undergrad, went straight to LA, and the rest is history. Now I'm in Atlanta because it's booming here.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
So how important, so I follow you on social media. So I'm a fan. So if you are not following Brittany, please go follow Brittany.
She will be giving her handles.
Yes, she will give you your handles at the end of this segment. But I often hear you talk about how you make sacrifices in order to be where you are, in order to pursue the career and the path that you're taking. Tell us a little bit about some of the sacrifices that you have made. And I know it's not easy, but tell us a little bit about some of the sacrifices.
Well, that again, we would need a whole
Right.
time for that,
just touch on
a
it.
feature-length film. But just to sum it up, I always tell younger people too, like, if you want to be in entertainment, if you want to act, don't do it because you want to be rich and famous.
Right.
Because it's really about what's passionate, what's on your heart in any field. In any field, it takes sacrifice, particularly in entertainment, because it's so overcrowded, it's so subjective. It's not like you go to school and be a doctor and you're an amazing doctor, so there you go. There's a lot of people who don't have any talent that make it as an actor, so it's very subjective. It's people deciding who you know. But in regards to sacrifices, after college at 21, I went straight to LA. And back in the Midwest, I saw a lot of my friends buying their first house, getting married, having kids, and I'm over here like trying to figure it out. So that's a big sacrifice. I sacrificed family. I sacrificed time with my family. A lot of job hopping.
Yes.
Because my undergrad was in marketing, and then I went and got my MBA in marketing because I didn't want to have to traditionally like wait tables and act. I wanted to still have a good, a good income coming in. But that was other sacrifices. I would get fired and I would have to quit because I would have auditions and I would book things, and it's just like such a thing. And to live in LA, it's hard to survive and wait tables in LA. And so, I mean, it's just so many sacrifices. It's worth it though, because anything worth having is worth fighting for.
Absolutely.
And the people that make it are the people that didn't give up.
Yes.
So, as we can see, you are definitely an influencer.
I hate
So
that word.
being an influencer and a woman of empowerment, what would you suggest to aspiring actors or artists, whomever may be entering the entertainment and film realm? What are some tools and some go-tos that they definitely must incorporate in their daily activity and their goals or marketing? Because you say you specialize in marketing. So what are those things they should focus on?
Well, my mom was right. So I did go to school for marketing, so I can't blame her for that, because now it's so needed. And I eventually was able to utilize those tools, take them from corporate America and market myself. I know you mentioned influencer. I was completely against social media. I just got an Instagram page, I believe, like 18 months ago. Because my acting manager was like, look, like, this is where it's at. They're hiring people who have no experience but have followers. And I'm like, oh, so if you can't beat them, join them. So I took what I learned in marketing and applied that to myself. And pretty much what I came up with is, why am I on social media? What do I look at? So people go on social media to want to laugh, to be influenced, or to see people in swimming suits. I don't know. That's like,
That's it in a nutshell.
yeah. So I tried to
Absolutely.
combine all of that and use it as a platform. So what I would tell younger people is, like, build your niche, produce your own content, go and invest in lighting, and you can shoot something on, and I don't know if I could say the name of a brand, but on a good phone, they have 4K quality, and show your talent like that. Show networks, show indie filmmakers what you can bring in by yourself, because that's what they're looking at now.
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
yes.
Well, the film, that you recently worked on. You know, you can't give too many details.
Yes.
But you can give us some takeaways and share whatever you may be able to. Your takeaway, how did that make you think? Did it impact you in any kind of personal way?
Well, yes. Now, I am an actress, and that's really all that I want to do. But I have a mentor, Angela White, who back in the day got me into production. So I started off before I met her as a production assistant and under her tutelage, production coordinator, production manager. And I recently reconnected with her. And to make a long story short, my little brother at 15 was living with me, and he saw me auditioning and not getting parts or getting close or going to produce a session. He's like, you know what, I'm going to write you something. And he's like, I'm going to write you something. This is, you know, like, and I was like, it touched my heart. He wrote something. But I'm like, what you wrote, I can't afford, I don't know how, thank you, God bless you, but how do we do this? Run into Angela, she has a school called Backstage Pass in the movie industry, and she's like, man, I'm looking for something for my students to work on. And I'm like, oh, my little brother, I mean, he writes, but he's like, doesn't write. She's like, let me take a look at it. First thing she saw, she's like, oh no, this isn't gonna work. We don't have a budget for it. Saw the second thing, and she was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And the rest is history. So my little brother got his first at 16. He was 15 when he wrote it. He did the story by, but we got someone professional to actually put it all together.
Right.
Got his first story by credit, and paid for his first writing gig. And that's a blessing because I didn't have someone to do that for me, you know, when I was younger. So that was a blessing. I wasn't in it.
Right.
She was telling me, like, you know, to be a boss, you gotta not just act, you have to produce, be a creator. So for this project, I was lead producer and helped produce it, which
On your brother's project.
On my brother's
Phenomenal.
project.
Congratulations to you and your
Yes.
brother.
Okay, are we allowed to, we can release the name of the project, right?
Yes. Currently, I don't know if it'll change, but I know right now the project is called Hands Up. And to sum it up, it takes place in the pre-Civil War era, and how the similarities of what happened back then are still occurring today. And it's pretty much from the mind of my brother, who's a young black man, 16 years old, who's learning about slavery in school, but also seeing things like, why are these things still happening today? So it's a lot of twists and turns. I can't give it away, but oh my gosh, it's gonna be powerful. And we're currently running the film festival circuit for it. And you know,
Which is
Yes,
awesome. And
congratulations
on
to
that as
you.
well.
and congratulations to her, because she was the first AD on
I
the
know.
project.
Yes.
Controlling the set, women empowerment.
Yes, that's
And
my baby with her.
I definitely want to say that in joining the project, I was kind of hesitant because it's like, you know, I want to be an actress. You know, I don't want to AD anymore. And then in meeting you and having that conversation with you and seeing you and Miss Angela White in action, oh man, did that motivate me. It's like, okay, you know, I got to go back through my book. I missed this, and they did it this way, you know, and seeing you guys take control and seeing where I can be and where I can go if I just stick to it, you know, and knowing that it's okay to do more than one thing when it comes to the entertainment industry. I definitely thank you guys for that because
Well, look at you now.
yeah.
There we have
Look
it.
at
Yes, I appreciate that. So, with that being said, guys, we definitely want to thank Miss Brittany for coming on.
Yes,
letting
you do.
us know,
Thank you
yes,
so much, Miss Brittany.
giving us so much knowledge and wisdom when it comes to this industry. To see this young lady in action is definitely motivating and inspiring. So with that being said, I'm gonna let her leave off the show with giving us her handles, her social media handles, so you guys can go and follow her. Please
Yes.
follow. You will definitely learn a lot. And please go and follow the young lady that she mentioned, Miss Angela White. She definitely has classes to offer that will put you on the next level. We often come in thinking that we know everything, but you know, you can always be open to learn more. And that class and the courses that she offers, Miss Angela White, please go and follow her on Instagram. All right, Miss Brittany, can we get your social media handle?
Yes, and please follow Hands Up Movie
Yes.
to be updated on the grand happenings of it as I'm speaking it into existence.
Yes.
But you can follow me at Brittany Mayti on all platforms, and that's BritTanyMayti.
And there we have it, guys. We thank you so much, Brittany, for coming on this episode of 7. Oh, man, it's so good seeing you again. And
Same here.
there we have it, guys.
And welcome back to 7. We are now in our Showtime segment, and our guest artist today is going to be none other than the founder of Black Liaison.
Yes,
Squale. Welcome,
Hello, hello. Thank you so much for coming.
Yes, absolutely. Thank
y'all
you.
for having me.
You are so welcome. Yes. All right, Mr. Black Liaison.
I love
From
it.
the little A, Athens,
The little
Georgia,
A, yes,
Bulldog
Athens,
Nation.
Georgia.
Yes.
Yes, it's in the building.
I'm here.
Yes, you are. Thank you so much for joining us. So, we're going to dive right into it.
Let's do it.
All right?
Okay.
So, tell our viewers a little bit about yourself.
I'm Squale. Born and raised Athens, Georgia. 29 years old. Hip hop artist, community activist. I have 3 step teams, basketball teams, so I do more than hip hop. So that's me in a nutshell.
Yes, the list goes on
The
and on.
list goes on and on. It
Yes,
does.
he's one of the most passionate artists that I have seen work beside, perform with, and everything.
Thank you.
Being in Athens, Georgia, which is known as a music city, is definitely a takeover with the Black Liaison.
Oh, yeah.
So, enlighten us on the movement, the Black Liaison movement.
Okay.
What influenced you and motivated you to create this movement, and then touch on the various artists that are joining your team.
Okay, so Black Liaison is what started out being a networking group. Liaison meaning something that is in the middle or connects one thing to another. Is where I got that from. And black because I'm just everything black.
Yes.
I love black as a color, black as a race, black as everything. Black is excellence to me, so it wouldn't be right if I didn't put black in front of something.
Yes.
So it's become more now of a organization that sponsors youth groups. So right now, since we're just starting out, I sponsor my step teams and my basketball team. So the money that I make with hip hop, I use in Black Liaison to sponsor teams.
Phenomenal.
Nice. That's a
Phenomenal.
nice move. So definitely proud of you and honored
you.
to have you here speaking on the
Thank you.
positivity that you're doing as far as giving back to the community, especially the youth,
Especially.
to give them an outlet and something to do with their time other than electronics.
It's rough out here. It's rough out here because I didn't have that
Right.
growing up. So it caused me to get into a lot of stuff, a lot of trouble growing up. I didn't have anybody to say, hey, you should try this, or maybe you should try this outlet, or let's give you this resource or opportunity. So when I came back, that's the first thing I wanted to do.
Awesome.
So, shed some light on to what magnitude that you're impacting the community, because that step team of yours is phenomenal. We're definitely going to have to invite them here on the
Yes.
show.
Oh,
snap.
Let us know the ranking and how did you get into stepping yourself?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so I coach, my main team is Hillsman Middle School, which is located in Athens, of course. But they go by the name Chaotic Step Team, because they're literally chaotic. Just a bunch of little girls, bunch of personalities, and it just fit, the names fits. But they are 4-time consecutive inner city champions. 4 times in a row.
Phenomenal.
Nice. Congratulations.
Yeah, we are
yes.
National Step League state champions in 2018.
Awesome.
And at one point, we were top 5 in the nation for middle school step team.
That's phenomenal.
Nice.
So
So
we're competing this year, so we're getting there.
how does it make you feel knowing that the impact that you're not trying to make, but the impact that you are actually making is showing positive results? Because nowadays you have a lot of kids or a lot of youth that feel like they are too old,
That's
you
true.
know what I mean, or
That's
too
true.
mature
That's true.
to be involved in the things that you have going on. So how does it make you feel that you actually have kids wanting to be a part of what you have going up, the Black Liaison?
It's special.
Yes.
I would say Me growing up, I didn't know I would be in this position. I was, like I said, a knucklehead. So to see it now, it's just God. God is, God is everything, and has molded me to become this person that's involved in their lives. And it started out just me being a coach. And I didn't notice it at first until I would have parents say, hey, can you come talk to my daughter? Can you come talk to my child, my son? And it's grown from that. So it's very, very special to me because I wouldn't have never guessed that I would be in this position.
Nice, nice.
Awesome. So when it comes to your music, it is so deep.
Ooh.
You're a very
I try to be,
inspirational
deep.
artist. Yes.
Okay.
It's full of information, very informative, and your music is mind stirring. It makes the community think. Now, writing your music, what inspired you to write in a manner that you do? Living in Athens, Clarke County, which I have.
Yeah, so you understand.
I totally understand to some aspect, but only was there for a very snippet of time. That's where you're from, born and raised, with the economic infrastructure in Athens and how it relates to, community socially. There's a divide there. You're actually crossing that divide due to your music.
I think so.
Being in Flagpole, performing at Foundry. These are monumental locations and
Yes, they are.
historical locations that at one time we could not perform in.
Yes. That's true.
So, and me seeing that, is very inspiring.
I appreciate
So
that.
how did that motivate you to work as hard as you do?
Athens it's very divided. It's no middle class, I'll say that.
Yeah.
Either you got it or you don't.
don't.
And I grew up in the don't.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So my influence was that alone. My neighborhood that I grew up in is called Rolling Ridge. It's exactly the same from when I was a child, and I left Athens for a couple of years and came back. There's still no playground at the top of the hill. There's still no basketball court for the kids. There's still no resources for black children and black people. Jobs, whatever you call it, there's scarcity of it in Athens. Also, you have this big college that's there, UGA, and drop that in the center, and UGA is very affluent, and then there's a project right beside it. So like riding through town and seeing that stuff is what motivates me to put that stuff in my music, because you have kids that grew up just like me that only know the hood and school. They don't see this good stuff. They don't see the buildings going up. They don't see the gentrification.
Right.
They don't see none of that stuff happening. So I put it in my music because that's how I reach out to people. That's my voice.
Yes.
So that's just growing up in poverty and crime and struggle and wanting to give back some type of way without having money.
Right.
Music is my way to do that.
Beautiful,
Awesome.
beautiful. So tell us, how did you come up with the name Squale?
Ooh. Okay, so Squale is a term that originated in New York, and it just means like police coming, cops are coming. So down south, how they say 12 is what they call the police in New York. They call them Squale. When I was younger, I was getting in trouble a lot. So this guy was like, yeah, you little Squale, yada, yada. I got older, right? And I didn't know this, but I got older and met a guy from Zimbabwe. He went to college with him.
Okay.
And he told me that Squale in his language meant young in age and wise in mind.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. Or how we say old soul.
Which is what you
it's
are,
they-
old
And it
soul.
fit. It really did
Absolutely.
fit. Which is, it really fit.
And you touched on police.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God,
Okay,
they
so-
out of control.
This episode is actually on police violence. Could you speak on your experience in Athens, Clarke County, that you experienced either discrimination or mistreatment or false identity or anything in regards of the aspect of police law enforcement when you have done absolutely no wrong?
Well, yeah, my experiences, I haven't had many bad experiences in Clarke County or Athens. Most of my experiences have been in Atlanta. I went to college in Montgomery, so I had just a bunch of experiences there.
Okay.
And I've been in New York a couple
Enough
times, so
said.
New York
Yeah.
is rough too. Athens police, they are prejudiced, but they're not as aggressive as like city police.
Right.
City police, and they fear us. Let's just put that out there.
Right.
The way that they're trained, the way that they're conditioned to fear black people, black men. So it's just a natural thing when they, come in contact with us. They don't know what to do. We don't know what to do. We fear them. They fear us. There's no understanding in the middle. So when you get that,
Chaos.
Chaos is bound to happen.
Yes.
It's tragic because I don't think that police look at the situations behind the acts. Like
Yes.
sometimes what's crime to them is what's a guy trying to feed his family to us.
Yes.
So where our reasons may be justified, they don't understand it
Right.
because they never been there. They don't get it.
Right.
So that's been just me just being profiled a lot all my life, being a black guy. Them just thinking that I'm dangerous and crazy. So.
Okay.
It's so interesting that you said they don't know, we don't know.
They don't.
Yeah.
And
We
that's
was just mentioning this,
Right.
the previous segment.
right, and that's
Yeah.
that just causes a lot of confusion. So with you saying that, do you believe that if civilians took a officer's course to try to get a better understanding of the police officers, that it's only fair that the officers, they're already civilians before they become police officers. So some of them put on the badge and
They change.
all of a sudden
Oh,
they
yeah.
change.
They get that power, yeah. They get
Right,
that power.
they get power struck.
Yeah.
So, do you think it's only fair that police officers go through a more in-depth training than they already have to try to downplay or to try to ostracize the violence and the killings? Do you believe that would be a help, or do you think?
Oh, definitely. Because that's another reason why we do get killed and we do get arrested a lot, because we don't know the law. So they can say anything to us, and we just are so ignorant to it.
Right, and
Right.
sometimes we come in with
yeah,
the
and-
mentality that's
And
not.
sometimes
the
we
best
don't care
either.
to know the law.
Right.
So we do have to teach our kids the law and how to go about certain situations when dealing with police.
Yes.
But at the same time, we need to train police on their communities, because a lot of times these communities are policed by officers that have no idea who lives there.
Right.
They're from some suburb on the other side of town, so they don't understand
No,
the
they
way
can't relate, don't understand how
the
people
places that they're
move,
governed,
yeah.
how they move. I think that they don't do enough of like community events or community
Outreach.
involvement or outreach. I've never seen cops just go in a neighborhood and say, "Hey, let me play basketball with you guys," or
Yes.
"Let me sit down and see what it is that you're doing."
Right.
So they deem us all as dangerous because they just don't know
Yeah.
us. So I think the police should learn how to get more into the community so that
Absolutely.
they can all kind of join together.
Merge together.
It's really the understanding. There's no understanding. So if you can take them to the communities and teach them how it operates, at the same time take the children into the precinct, teach them how they operate, I think that's when you can get the understanding.
And there we have
So
it.
there you have it, guys. You heard it from Mr. Squale himself.
Stamp.
The understanding is there is no understanding. And that's what we have to bring back to the communities, to the police force, to all humanity, is that we need understanding and what's going on. With that being said, Mr. Squale, we appreciate you
Thank
for coming on.
Thank you.
Indeed, we do. You're
Yes.
also welcome. Thank
Your
you
words
for
of
coming.
wisdom,
Yes.
definitely. So, guys, we are going to head into a performance by Mr. Squale, and we're going to let him introduce the song that he's going to be performing, and we're going to sit back and enjoy.
Indeed.
Okay, so my name's Squale, of course. I'm going to perform a song entitled Holyfield. Evander Holyfield is like an idol to me, and he went into that Mike Tyson fight as an underdog. So I feel like us as black people, we are deemed to be the underdog, which is why I called it Holyfield. Hope y'all enjoy. Oh, you can follow me on Instagram at Squale_Shotham, SQUALLE, Squale_Shotham. It'll pop up. Or you can Google it. All my social media will pop up. My music's everywhere. Squale Shotham 2 is out everywhere.
It is.
Go get that.
Yes,
find
please,
them.
go get it.
Support.
Bevelo got that sauce.
Nigga, tell me how you feel. I came up on the mill. came up out the field, so I ain't never gotta chill. Holyfield, Holyfield. Holyfield, Holyfield. Nigga, tell me how you feel. I came up on the mill. I came up from the field, so I ain't never gotta chill. Holyfield, Holyfield.
Wale got that sauce. I paid the cost to be the boss. I'm real live taking off. To get ahead, I took a loss. To get ahead, I had to deal with a couple people trying to write me off. To get ahead, I had to boss up and start cutting certain people off. Whoa, whoa. Cause when you on top, you can't have friends. Cause you never know who really got your back. Never really know who really there for pretend. Whoa, Holyfield, Holyfield. I'm going in the underdog. They getting mad that I'm up now, so they trying to bite my ears off. I stick and move in the 12th round, they still think I'm falling off. I put in work just like it's overtime, and they ain't never calling out. Hey, hey, tell your haters shut your mouth. Whoa, whoa, before you see what I'm about. Nigga, tell me how you feel. I came up on the mill, came up from the field, so I ain't never got chill. Hey, say what we say.
Holyfield, Holyfield.
Whoa, 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 one more time.
Holyfield, Holyfield.
Please tell me how you feel. I came up on the mill, I came up from the field, so I ain't never got chill. Hey, say what we say.
Holyfield, Holyfield.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
All right. So welcome back to 7.
Welcome back, guys.
Yes. So normally this segment would be called Watch Me Work. But Tia with an I and Tia with an Y, which is myself, we've decided to take this time to reflect.
So, in reflecting, we're going to talk about a couple of the topics that we touch bases on today, or for this month of episodes. Most importantly, we want to talk about the mental health segment, which we will be bringing back because there are so many topics. It's such a broad topic to discuss and talk about that we want to bring that back. And we also want to bring back the police violence segment to get a better understanding, to see where we can come together as a people versus race against race.
Right. And law enforcement and community.
Yes.
So, BB.
Yes.
What was your take on the relationship segment?
Whoa. I think on the relationship segment, BB, I should have been writing some things down.
I think so too. Oh gosh, it was just so much information.
Yes,
Right?
definitely on partnership and coming together and merging.
Which a lot of us do definitely lack, due to upbringings, as our therapists have mentioned.
Yes.
Watching your parents when you're growing up, watching how their relationship is, you just automatically think it's supposed to be that way. But having any kind of relationship, whether it's friendship or an intimate relationship, marriage or a courting, you have to definitely maintain respect and open communication for it to have longevity.
Yes.
Right?
So yes, BB. So tell me, what do you think about the police segment? Like, what do you think about the information that we received on that segment, and how do you think it will impact us moving forward?
Well, I feel as though that segment was definitely needed, especially as I mentioned with the various things that we all have seen on news. There's some information in regards of statistics. People are losing their lives for the gap and the divide between law enforcement and community. Some of these things, as Officer Mobley mentioned, if we educate ourselves, or if we become more aware, or if in the community we open our minds and open our hearts to try and understand the dynamic of the relationship with law enforcement. They're there to protect, uphold, and make sure that our lives go on a daily basis without other issues. Instead, it seems somehow, some way, there's a stigma, a very strong stigma, an underlying issue that's maintaining throughout the nation. So that is something of importance, and I do agree. Perhaps there can be some cross training, perhaps even in the school systems. He had mentioned the idea of you know, partnering or getting parents to bring children in, but perhaps, you know, saying this is a platform, exactly why Tia and I came up with this platform.
Yes.
Perhaps schools would be interested in having a buddy program, you know, basically children that may be interested or children that may be experiencing different things to have a buddy program with an officer or with the local law enforcement agency to bring that divide and that rapport and rebuild that broken bridge between law enforcement and the communities, because these children one day will be the adults and running our nation. So yeah.
And I also agree with him and what you said as far as making sure they understand, you know, what the police officers are there for and what they're there to do. And I really commend Alfred's parents.
He did phenomenal.
Yes. Especially you can tell in his upbringing that he understands to be so young what's going on. And in my mind, to me, that's sad, because to me at that age, he should only be worried about, you know, having fun, preparing for his future, not worrying about police officers.
Getting stopped.
Exactly.
Getting stopped and something happening to him, you know, to hear him at such a young age, 10-year-old.
To be able to
you know,
break
to
it
directly
down.
say it to an actual officer, you know, that was very impactful. That really showed that stigma and that stereotype. Some would say it's a stereotype and some would say it's a reality. So evidently in his life and in his mind, he may think that is some sort of reality for him to ask that question. So perhaps one day, through his experiences, his thoughts and everything will definitely shift, as I hope that many of our growing youth, their thoughts and ideas in regards of law enforcement will shift and vice versa.
Yeah, so our last recap on the single parent segment. How do you feel about that?
Well, it did touch home.
It did.
You know, you and I, Tia and I, both are single parents. We understood with both of our guests, Miss Carrie and Miss Sheraton, what they shared with us in regards of being single mothers, co-parenting. Tia's co-parenting, I'm co-parenting. She's co-parenting her kids, you know, as a single mother, focusing on entertainment and everything. She'll speak on her behalf in a moment. You know, I'm here with her and she's here with me, so we totally understand and we're going through this together. You know, being single mothers, and this is prime example, and again, this is another platform that we created for such a thing, even a platform for ourselves.
Yes.
We will be transparent through this journey. And again, being a single mother, one child is away, 3 kids here, and the dynamic of how it impacts the daily goings and comings is very important, you know, for employers to understand, for, you know, whatever industry you may be an employer or co-worker, understand, you know, the importance of what single parents do and the different things that they encounter from being a single parent.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And with that being said, BB, how about we give our viewers a little bit of our history so they will understand where we are coming from and how we came together and merged together.
All right, Tia with a Y.
Tia with an I.
Picture it.
Sicily.
1988.
Yes.
That is how far back Tia and Tia goes. This right here was predestined, and we're walking it as we were meant to do. We were competitors in the elementary school softball team all the way up through middle school, high school. We were associates and friends, but I would say during high school and right after high school, we became a little closer. Tia actually was at the birth of my first daughter. This is, we're trying to fast forward. We'll go into details another time, but just to fast forward, Tia was actually at the birth of my first daughter, who is now 17. And after I had her, we had parted ways.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
We had parted ways. She went to the military, and I went back to college. I was going into my junior year at Virginia State University. Nonetheless, I'm not thinking about it. I'm sure she wasn't thinking about it either because we were becoming grown women and we were going into our own ways. And she got married and I got married and she had children and I had children. But something was predestined and something was set on an axis way back in 1988. So in
Yes.
2011, my now ex-husband and I moved to Atlanta, Georgia to focus on my singing career, right? So within that first year, I find out that Miss Tia is in Atlanta. I was so ecstatic, you all, so ecstatic, because I remember as a child that she was my competitor in regards of being athletic. We were definitely tomboys, I would say, weren't we?
Yes.
Muscle-bound little girls.
No other way.
But she was no longer just a competitor, she was a friend. Being at the birth of my daughter, I was just so excited to hear that Tia was down in Georgia, and I didn't know what she was doing down here, but I wanted to know. We still didn't have time to get together again because we both were living on our own ways with our own families. So by 2014, if you want to take the part.
So 2014, I came to Atlanta and I had to end up going back home to Virginia for a year to handle some family business, and then I ended up coming back. And when I came back, it was so surreal that Tia was here in Atlanta and she was pursuing singing and I was pursuing acting,
Yes.
and we kind of we just came together, and when we came together, it clicked just like it did back in elementary school. So, there are different types of soulmates.
Yeah.
And in this lifetime, I believe that Tia and I are soulmates when it comes to business.
Yeah.
We move the same, we talk the same, we finish each other's sentences.
We do.
And it's crazy. And it just so happens that the same things that she was experiencing while we were separated in life, I was also experiencing. We went through our divorce at the same time and didn't know it. Children again at the same time and didn't know it. So life was just happening for the both of us at the same time, doing the same exact things. And then once we came back together, it was just like, where have you been?
Separated.
Right. It was like we had never been
Yeah.
separated. So to be able to be, separated for so many years and then come back together, like, time never came between
Yeah.
the two of you, I think it goes to show that we value each other as people, as friends, and as humans.
Yes.
We merged together. We've been sitting on this idea of 7 for maybe 2 years.
Yeah, just about.
Close to 2 years. And we finally we were being pushed back because we kept stopping our vision to help other people build theirs.
Yes.
And when 2020 came into play, we decided that we would no longer take the back seat to us, but we would put ourselves in the front seat to make this happen.
We did.
She's passionate about her singing career. I'm passionate about my acting career. So we just decided to merge the two.
Merge.
Yes, and we created the talk show 7, which will give both of us a platform to show our talent, but not only ours, but to bring independent artists on as well, to let them showcase their talent and to get insight on what it actually takes in the industry, be it music or be it film. You can learn something from 7. We came up with the name 7.
Completion.
It's completion, full circle.
Yes.
We feel like it's our time. Not only is it our time, but we feel like it's your time.
Yes.
So that's the reason in creating 7. That's a little bit of back history between Tia and myself, Tia with the Y, and
Yes.
Tia with an
Tia
I.
with an I.
Hopefully you guys will continue to follow us.
Support us.
Please like and share
Please
at
do.
7 Show on Instagram. We haven't created our Facebook page yet, but we will be creating
All social media, Twitter,
all
Facebook,
social media platforms
YouTube.
for you guys to be able to connect with us if you want to be a part, be a guest on the show. All of that
Topics.
will be set up. Yes.
If you want to hear about a specific topic, because we do invite therapists or train someone who specializes in our topics. As well as she mentioned, if you want to be a guest, if you're an independent artist and you're passionate and you know this is what you want to do, if you're a director, if you're an author, definitely reach out to us. Our email is
So let me think about that. Yeah, what is our email?
7
Our email is 7TNT@gmail.com.
So it's the number 7 EVENTT@gmail.com.
So shoot us an email, tell us what you guys think, let us know if you want to become a part, shoot us some topics and ideas that you would like to hear us discuss.
Yes.
People, artists that you would like to see us interview and bring on. And
That's about it.
that's
and
about
there
it.
We
That's a
have
wrap,
it.
guys. And there we have it.
Stay tuned. We have
Yes.
so much in store.
Yes. Thank you.